G'day everybody, it's me again. Been out shopping. Got a call from a friend who said that Jaycar were running out these wind generators, so I got one at quite a reasonable price. Quite happy with it. It's only 200 watts, but it's not a full charging solution for me. It's just a bit of help to help my solar panels along the way, and I will actually be able to add a second 120 amp hour battery if I have this unit installed and charging for me as well. Some of you may remember the big concrete block that I have. It's going to become a tower base for that, possibly anyway. I may also use a container for that. Basically I'm going to put the machine together here now, see what it has a look, and see what it looks like I should say. And yeah, got some nuts, some bolts. I'm probably going to end up making my own controller because I want to interface it with my solar. These ones don't interface with a solar controller at the same time because they won't charge when the solar's in operation. My solar controller will take input from wind as well as solar at the same time, so I'm going to have to look into that. Appropriate blocking diodes and such in place. That's the hub. It is all Chinese, but it's actually not that badly made. Castings aren't that rough at all, they're quite good. I got some more lights as well. I'll do a separate video on them. Blades, aluminium. Did actually order a second set as well, just in case. But what we'll do is we'll mount that in the vise and we'll start putting it together. See what she looks like. Okay, so there's that mounted in the vise. Now apparently this thing does have an automatic furling system, they call it. So if the wind speed gets too high, it will actually turn itself away from the wind slightly. I'm not sure how that works, but I'm sure I'm going to find out. First step, put the hub on. That's easy. It looks like there's provision for a split pin there to stop the nut coming off, which would be really, really shitty if that happened while that thing was running. Now it's not keyed, it is just a smooth shaft, so it is going to be like a friction fit. There isn't going to be any actual mechanical locking besides the nut to secure that on. I suppose that's a good thing. So if it wanted to try and work itself loose, there'd be major issues. And that probably should be a nylock nut. I might actually replace that with a nylock. Actually, no, if I've got the pin there, yeah, if I've got the pin through, shouldn't be such an issue. Shouldn't be such an issue at all, if I can find the right sort of spanner. Nope, I guessed wrong. Alright, time to find a bigger adjustable spanner, tighten that up, and then we'll start putting these blades on. I found myself an easier method of getting these out. Hell of a lot easier than doing it by hand. Hell of a lot easier than doing it by hand. Well, time to install a blade, I suppose, isn't it? This is so much better than doing it by hand with a spanner. That sucks. You're not supposed to really use these impact drivers in this manner, I suppose, but I've had one undo a 5/8 bolt without any issues, so it does the trick, except when they get stuck. But another little funny thing I wanted to say was that this side of here is kept cool by the sun, because the sun charges my batteries, which runs my fridge. It's a 240 volt bar fridge, runs off an inverter. Interesting part is like I said, hopefully once this is installed I won't need to buy any power except for air conditioning this summer. So we'll see how it goes. It also seems that installing the blades is really straightforward. There's really nothing to it at all. Firstly, you obviously bolt them into place, but you don't tighten them all the way up. You sort of leave them just that little bit loose, and you actually have to make a measurement between the three blades to make sure they're all within 5mm tip to tip, and that's done for balancing purposes. I would say it's pretty important for this assembly to be balanced. It does spin maximum speed about 550 RPMs, so it would be rather important for it to be balanced. I'll probably just zap them up with the rattle gun, just don't go all the way, don't go too hard on it. I've got different length bolts here. Yes, I do. There's short ones and long ones. Whoops. Yeah, so I would say the long ones go in that end, and the short ones are all different lengths. They're not all different lengths, but you've got long, 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 short, 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 long, long. There's something funny going on here. Maybe they are all meant to be the same length, but being Chinese, somebody hadn't had their bowl of rice that morning. May have buggered it up for me. So long, 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 long. That's a long. Two shorts. Yep, like I said, I'll just nip these up. So we're kind of, yeah, the blade is still loose, so I'll be able to do the alignment. They stick out the back just a little. It's okay, it's looking good. Oh, gonna have to move this damn printer. But yeah, I don't think I need to show every blade going on. Well, there we go, that's the 3 blades on. Bit of progress made. It's a lot bigger than I thought it was. Didn't think it was that big at all. Starting to remind me of one of my other hobbies. Won't mention that right now. So, yeah. Next I've got to put the split pin through, which is easy enough. It's entirely easy enough. Which pin. Like so. And put it through the hole. But it looks like I will need to tighten that bolt just a bit more to get it to fit. Obviously they intended that bolt to be crushing that, crushing the spring washer completely. Now that I've got the blades on, I've actually got something to hold on to tighten it up. So we'll do that, we'll chuck that pin in and we'll see the result. Right, so that's the split pin installed. Did it as best as I could considering the circumstances. They really didn't leave me very much room at all there. First things first though, got to measure the tip distances, get the tip distances within 5mm of each other like the book suggests. I'll just use a ruler for that, I suppose. Okay, I can just use a ruler for that, that's no issue. And then once that's done I can put my, well, firstly tighten all my bolts, make sure my blade bolts are all tight, and then obviously I can put the nose cone on, which just slips over like that. 3 bolts hold that on, and I really think that's just purely really cosmetic in this case. I don't think that's going to prevent any drag really or anything like that. Maybe somebody can shed some light on that one for me, but yeah, I'll get these blade tips measured out, we'll tighten all that up, we'll put it together, we'll chuck the tail on, and then it comes time for the operational tests, which are just continuity test, continuity test, a short test, and an ohms test to make sure there's no resistance to ground must exceed 10,000 ohms. When the wires are open, the wind generator rotor should spin freely, and the short circuit test, when the wires are shorted together, it should turn hard and smooth. Now they are shorted together right now, and it is kind of, yeah, it's got the hard and smooth thing going on. I will move that fucking copier, I reckon, because then I'll actually be able to, I don't know, I'll get it past, just get it through here. So, yep, time to measure the blades, figure that out, and then do the tests, and show you guys some more results. Now, I just did my measurements for the tip-to-tip measurement, and what I can see here is that there's physically not enough room for movement in here. They say that you should be able to loosen it and move the tip, but then if you loosen it and move the tip, as you tighten it back down again, it just pulls itself back into the same spot that it was. The shape is pretty much preventing it from being able to move. I have a feeling those instructions are more applicable to the older model, which was held together with a different setup. The hub was different and it had fiberglass blades, where these ones are alloys, so I think the whole mounting system is different. So it's not really going to be, I can't see how there can be 5mm out in the tip with the 0.00 of a millimetre you've got to move here. So I'm happy that they're close enough. They're all within about 6mm, so it's not so bad, but I can't physically find the movement. The shape prevents the shape of the way the well, you call that an airfoil now, wouldn't you? Mounts in the hub. There physically isn't the room for the movement that they suggest. So I've done my best with that. It's now time to put the cap on, the nose cap, attach the tail, and we're going to have ourselves something that really is starting to look like a wind turbine. Yeah, give me a minute here again. Well, 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 aren't we looking pretty? It's even got the tail on now. Now, you notice the tail is on a flexible mount. It pivots. The reason for that being is also the tail is off centre to the centre line of the machine. Now, what this means is as the amount of force applied by the wind on the rotor increases, it will actually cause the blades to turn at an angle into the wind, eventually turning at such an angle that it slows the machine down enough. It's basically a mechanical, unfallible speed control. Prevents the machine from being oversped. It still has an upper limit of 40 meters per second. Higher than that, wind speeds can damage the unit and it can't furl any further. So there is actually a method in higher winds where you short all three connections to your turbine to slot kit, to mechanically break it and dump it through a load resistor. Yeah, but combined that and the auto furl, you can do winds, I think they set up to 140 kilometers an hour as it was, and then, yeah, 12 meters a second, the auto furl action turns the rotor away from the wind. The tail appears to fold, but in reality the tail stays stationary as the rotor turns sideways to the wind. It says, say here, yeah, they say 4.5 metres for the tail, but I'm going to be about 4 metres. I do get wicked winds here as it is. Where did I read it? I must have read it somewhere else. But anyway, yeah, 40 metres a second was the maximum. So if that's the, yeah, 40 metres a second maximum. So figure out how many, what that is in kilometres an hour, and I'd be able to figure it out. So that's that part done, I suppose. What I'm actually going to do, geez, it got dark quick out here. What I'm actually going to do is I got this, well, you can just see there, it's a bit of Gulf pole, say 3mm wall. I'm going to put some guy wire points up there so I can wire it up. And I'm going to make a mounting plate out of a bit of steel and another bit of pipe. And that mounting plate is going to be solidly welded to the top of a container. And then I'm going to guy wire it from there. And to keep the pole straight, of course. I don't know whether I'm going to need to use guy wires. I might be able to get away with just using some solid well, solid reinforcements. As long as the blades can't hit it, it'll be fine. I've got to be careful about that. Got to remember my blades are quite long, and that they may interfere with mounting if I'm not careful. So I have to make sure I keep all my mounting hardware clear of the blades. Also, wherever I choose to put it, I have to make sure it's not going to be a hazard. You know, like if something does go wrong, hopefully it falls apart and doesn't send a blade flying through the side of my house and kill me. So I've got to be careful with that. And yeah, it's about enough for this video. Can't really do much else out here. It's all done. I will be doing the testing of the actual electrical components once I put it up on its tower. But yeah, so far it does feels very solid. But the 3 output wires are shorted together, so it's supposed to feel that way. And yeah, a bit of a look at the actual unit here. 8 zinc fins. It is permanent magnet. Yeah, 200 watts, 12 volts, about 15 amps at full power. So I think that's just awesome. Awesome. I won't be having any power issues this summer for sure. Thanks for watching, and have a good one, everybody.